I'm
Not going
not
to be
gonna let
full
it happen.
again.
Oh, we are now officially live. Sorry, we were not live. There's a button that says go live. I just found it. We're live.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I mean injuries I think are the big thing this year. Like you've got to navigate it. I just rattled off some names of some guys. I mean, top tier running backs: Swift, John Taylor, Montgomery's been hurt, Kamara's been hurt. You go to the wide receiver side, Mike Thomas hadn't been active. DeAndre Hopkins not hurt, but he's been suspended. Higgins just got hurt. Amon-Ra St. Brown missed time. And then tight end wise, Darren Waller's been hurt. Kyle Pitts has been a no-show. And then and I think this has been a weird year, right? So you've gotten these guys that are just, I don't want to call them boom and bust players, but like, what did we see from Hawkinson? 40 points, and then what, 1.5?
Only with Swift and Amon-Ra out.
Yeah, but I mean, even still, he was averaging more than that when they were in the previous weeks, and then all of a sudden he gets fucking hurt, and then, or he didn't even get hurt. They're all hurt because Amon did what last week? Nothing. He was hurt and not doing much, and Swift's still out, so that's there. But then all of a sudden you've got these guys that are like disappearing. Darren Waller disappeared. Obviously, it was some of the hurt. Ja'Marr Chase ghost. Even like T. Higgins goes down, you're like, oh shit, looks like Ja'Marr Chase is about to put up 40. Nope, just disappears. I'm trying to think of some of the other busts from last week. There were quite a few. Najee Harris has been absolutely hit or miss, mostly miss.
I'm glad you brought that up because they're not even putting him in the backfield down a lot to get like garbage time receptions.
Right.
It's Warren.
I mean, shit, you had, Myles Gaskin went from 6 rushes, 40 yards to 4 rushes, 9 yards. Disappeared. Um, you know, um, Atlanta, you had Drake London, who's been having a hell of a year, and then he gets 4 targets and catches it for 30 yards, and you get a 7-point game, and you're screwed, right? And this was supposed to be the big Tyler Algier coming out party. He didn't come out. You go over to the Saints, and fucking 3 touchdowns went to Taysom Hill. That was a boom, but where was everything for Kamara? He had a shit ton of yards, but damn, give me one of those touchdowns.
The yards saved him for sure. I think he still had
Right.
low 20s.
Then you move over to the Texans. Dameon Pierce saved himself with a touchdown towards the end, and he's looking solid. But shit, Jacksonville, what you had? Christian Kirk did what? Nothing. Where was James Robinson? ETN had a decent day, so we'll give him that. But it's been Marvin Jones. I don't know.
If you had told me Cooks would have had 6, I would have told you that I for sure would have won that bet. But I did send you the money for it.
Did you send it? I didn't. Dude, I don't even have notifications on. I don't even know if I have Venmo on this phone.
Well, I sent it. I sent it to your.
I did get it. Yeah, thank you, baby.
I didn't forget.
Yeah, I was gonna bring it up tonight because I kind of forgot, but not quite. I knew it was something between that game, but I couldn't remember exactly the players.
You were like, someone owes me food.
Yeah, I mean, again, you're talking about like shitty stuff that's going on. It's like, where are these guys? But
I think didn't Schultz had like 1 target before he re-aggravated.
Yeah,
his knee.
It was 1 target through the whole first half, and then, I mean, what's up with San Fran, right? Tevin Coleman, like,
he wasn't even like starting for the Jets last year.
I didn't even know he was on their roster. So this year's again, that's kind of the big boomer for me is it's just been hit or miss, right? And guys that you're like, oh, surefire. I mean, even though it's kind of shitty for Detroit, they're leading the league in scoring, and then they put up a goose egg when you start Jared Goff. It's like, fuck.
Yeah. There has to be some assumed risk there too, though, because I mean, I was wrong when I said, and I'll own it, I was wrong when I said I think a lot of people are still caught up in the Patriots defense because of what it's been in the past, but I think they've proven that they're viable, and I think they've proven to be somewhat
I guess.
viable.
I mean, they're kind of middle of the track team for me. I think the offense is too bad. So the offense is going to get behind, and so the defense is going to constantly be out there, and I think that's what's going to hurt them.
I guess what I meant was that like we should have assumed a little bit more risk with that golf matchup going into New England,
Yeah.
and then not being an easy one.
You're furious if you start Isaiah McKenzie because Khalil Shakir came and took all his points, and he had 0 for 0 for 0. It's like, and he was active.
I think my biggest takeaway is the backfield trending to going back to ETN.
Yeah, I liked that.
Out snapped J Rob, out touched, got more touches. It seems to be going back his way. And last time I saw, he had the highest for running backs yardage per touch at 6.2.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's also been, this year I feel like your fantasy points have been a lot of touchdown dependent, right? So let's look at Gabe Davis last week. 3 catches, 171, 2 touchdowns. And then you look at Travis Kelce, 6 catches, 4 touchdowns. And then you look at Dalvin Cook, 4 catches, 2 touchdowns. So and I think the biggest name in regards to this is Clyde Edwards-Helaire, right? So you're talking, I mean, I think he's RB4 or 5 right now, and he had 9 carries. I want everybody to realize, and we talked about this last week, right? The carries aren't there. Pacheco's taking carries from McKinnon. Now, Pacheco only had 1 last week, but McKinnon had 8 for more yards. CH had 9. And then McKinnon had 2 catches. CH had 3 on 4 targets. So
that's 50-50 every week, though. Like McKinnon could have easily been the one to have more receptions than CEH.
But let's look at it, right? So we've been saying this, take away the touchdowns. And where does he sit this week? I mean, he had fucking 15 yards rushing, and didn't get his touchdowns, and he busted. But I'm like, that's what he is there for. If he doesn't get that touchdown each week, that is your ceiling, and the ceiling is very far for him, and the floor is even further low. I mean, what's he going to get every week? He's going to get you 30 yards and a couple catches, some shit like that.
That's not something I'm willing to risk. It's not something I'm willing to put my playoff chances on the line for.
Right. Yeah, so I think, and I saw a thing today that, it was saying this is your last week to sell CH before he disappears. And I think it's true. I think this is the week to get rid of him. But hey, listen, if you're a CH fan, hold on to him.
I want to add a name to that too, if you don't mind.
Yeah, go for it.
I believe that this was probably the last week to sell high on Dalvin Cook too.
Interesting.
I would sell high on Dalvin Cook because he had the 2 touchdowns last week, but that would only make 3 on the year. And then because he scored, his only other one was against Detroit, and Alexander Mattison is getting more snaps in usage. And Dalvin's not getting the receiving game that he was projected to get at the beginning of the year. They're not using him as many people anticipated.
Yeah, I'll disagree with you there. I think Dalvin's okay. The problem there is he's a first-round pick guy, right? So if you have Dalvin, you got him in the first, unless you're in like a weird dynasty or super flex, and maybe he fell to the second. So the problem is your return on value, right? So if you're not getting a top tier guy, and it can be a top tier wide receiver because running back holds a little more value, whatever, but the hardest part would be to sell him and get what he's worth, right? Because, what are you trading him for?
Well, I mean, I would trade him for a first round early second receiver.
Yeah, so I mean, Jamar Chase, but it's going to be hard to get somebody to give up a Diggs, a CD, types like that for a Dalvin Cook. I think you'd be hard pressed. I mean, you're talking maybe you could. Let's see.
I would do. I'm just saying I would do it with
Yeah,
with the support that I provide. I mean, it's something that I would do. I'm not.
I agree. I agree. Let's see. I mean, we'll just go an average 10-teamer first round. So, I mean, you're getting Dalvin at the 7, right? So, guys that you could trade. Would you trade him for Najee Harris?
No.
What about Jamar Chase?
Yeah.
Devontae Adams?
Yeah.
DeAndre Swift?
That's tough.
Yeah.
No, probably not.
Alvin
Not there.
Kamara.
Probably, yeah.
Oh, see, I wouldn't because the ruling is scheduled for November now.
Really?
A little bit of question mark. Yeah, the latest is that November. Obviously, I think you would do it for Stephon Diggs. He's wide receiver 1.
He's definitely top 3.
Debo?
Probably not. No, but I would for CD.
Okay, yeah, I agree with CD. What about Keenan or Tyreek Hill?
No to Keenan. I don't like his injuries so far this year. I wouldn't be comfortable doing that. And then I don't think Tyreek Hill's hurt. I think that was just a precaution with the walking boot.
Yeah. But no Tua.
Right. It depends on when your trade deadline is, honestly, for me in that answer.
And then the last ones I'll get you are people in the back end of the third round. Michael Pittman, DJ Moore, T. Higgins, Mike Evans, Kyle Pitts.
No, I'd take Dalvin over any of those.
Yeah. Okay. So again, I think you're going to be hard pressed to get guys like CD, guys like Debo, some of those Jamar Chase. I mean, I don't think a Chase owner is going to get rid of Chase unless they're dying for running back need. And you have to. I mean, I'm dying for running back, and I wouldn't give up Justin Jefferson for anybody. Maybe Eckler. Jeff Armstrong. He's being offered Aaron Jones, A.J. Dillon, and Gabe Davis for John Taylor. His other starting running backs, Barkley and Breece Hall, and his other starting wide receivers, Godwin and Sutton. You can see that on the side, right?
Where do I go?
Are you on StreamYard?
Oh, yeah, I got it. Never mind.
So Aaron Jones, A.J. Dillon, Gabe Davis for John Taylor. Ooh, so that's tough.
Why would I want both Packers running backs?
Right. So that's what I'm seeing is you're trading away John Taylor, who the Colts look rough, right? So the Colts have been, I don't know, 50-50 over the last couple weeks. I haven't seen John Taylor. I mean, he had one good game, but you're picking up Aaron Jones, A.J. Dillon, and Gabe Davis. So what I'm looking at is I'm getting 3 guys. That means I have to drop 3 guys, right? So, Jeb, if you want to drop in here, who on your bench would you drop? Because those guys also have to vacate for the new people. I think you're good having Barkley and Hall. I think those are 2 great running backs for the long run. And I'd love to have Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon to kind of plug and play. The problem is with those 2 guys, you're plugging and playing them against each other, right? Because you only want – if you have A.J. Dillon, you're hoping Aaron Jones doesn't steal the touchdown. And if you have Aaron Jones, you're hoping A.J.
That would drive me crazy every week.
Yeah, and I'm in the same situation. I've got T. Higgins and Jamar Chase in a league. And I'm like, fuck, who do I play? Which one's which? Who do I go with? So I don't mind the trade. Maybe try to see if you can coax out somebody other than AJ Dillon, though. So you get Aaron Jones and, I'm not sure who's on their roster, but, another running back that can kind of offset it. So you can really pull for one Packers running back and one on the other side. That's how I would play it. And I think Gabe Davis is good for the long run. I think he's going to get the long balls. He's already garnered the trust. So he would drop Winston and Gallup. Bench is pretty bad. The bench is Winston, Gallup, Thielen, Scary Terry, Kyle Pitts, Isaiah McKenzie. Okay, so this is going to hurt you again because you've got Gabe Davis and Isaiah McKenzie.
Yeah. I would probably
go ahead, Diz.
You could back me up on this if you want, but I would probably drop McKenzie and keep Gallup for that reason.
No, I would agree. I think Gallup's going to be the 2 in that offense, and McKenzie's the 3, maybe the 4 now, with Shakir actually starting to show out a little bit. Dawson Knox is there. I think it's muddied. Past the Gabe Davis, Stephon Diggs, you get a muddied background.
I'm not giving up the overall 1-1 pick for someone that went in the second round, someone that probably went in the 4th or 5th, and then Gabe Davis was probably in the 6th or 7th or 5th and 6th.
I would say, let's see. I don't even know if Aaron Jones was in the. I'll tell you. I'm about to pull it up. Where
I want to say early 2nd, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was mid or late either.
I don't want super flex because I'm assuming standard PPR. So let's look at 12 team. Oh, it also depends on how many teams too. But looks like Aaron Jones was about pick 17 in most. So that's, second round. Mike Thomas.
It doesn't do it for me.
He looked good when he was out there, but the problem with him is he hadn't been out there, right? So you missed a couple weeks. He came back for a week, and now he's hurt again, and he's been out. And Olave looks to have really exploded there. So I think I'm avoiding that just on the basis of.
I love the 3 RBs he has. I love Barkley, Breece Hall, and Taylor.
10-team standard. He's nervous about the Colts offense. I'll try to search for another offer. Yeah, I mean, I agree. As a John Taylor owner, a little worrisome. We're not seeing the volume he had last year. The good thing for that is we're not seeing Nyheim Hines take any of it, right? So Nyheim Hines has had barely minimal games. Even when John Taylor's been out, it hadn't been Nyheim Hines. So I think the volume would be there. I think this is a good buy low opportunity, and I think people are going to try to buy low on John Taylor. Mm-hmm. So you're not going to get your value from him, right? So if you're trading John Taylor beginning of the year, I mean, you could have picked whoever you wanted. Right now, you're getting basically, hey, let me pull these guys I don't want. Let me give them to you. It's a lot of people, and it'll kind of like surprise you for John Taylor. And you're like, oh, I'm getting all these guys for John Taylor, but it's going to leave you with a hole. I think you're good enough with Hall and Barkley to ride out John Taylor's rough patch and then maybe reevaluate, in the next couple weeks where he is. And I think that also the schedule is going to get a little bit easier for them, right? So they should have I'm about to pull up John Taylor's schedule. They should have a few easier matchups in that regards.
And yeah, I mean, they have a good O-line too. And
we appreciate the sub, dude. We're usually either Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays. Depends on schedule. There's another guy that's on with us as well. But yeah, anytime you got questions, drop it down. Yeah, anytime, man. Let's see.
Taylor. They have Jaguars, Titans, Commanders, Patriots, Raiders, Eagles, Steelers, Cowboys, Vikings, Chargers, Giants, Texans.
Yeah, so all right, so
it's good.
You're looking at it, and that back half, so right after they get out of that Dallas game, they get a bye, so he's going to come back healthy from that bye, and then they get Minnesota, that's a green.
You can run on.
Chargers, that's an easy run on, and high-scoring games. And then they get the Giants, which I'm not as worried about. The Giants have looked good, but they've also not really played anybody major. I'm holding on to them. he's gotten the attempts, right? So the biggest thing for me is the availability of running. He's gotten 31, 9, 21, and 20. So he's getting the attempts. Let him break a couple off, or even just, I mean, even that with a few extra touchdowns, once that offense gets clicking. One thing to also remember is 2 years ago, his rookie year, I mean, the Colts didn't look good up until weeks 10, 11, and then he burst onto the scene and was just the guy after that. And so, I don't think it's time to sell him, and I'm especially not selling him for two same team running backs and Gabe Davis when I already have Isaiah McKenzie. So
I had him his rookie year too, and it took like 6 or 7 games. They didn't even feel comfortable using him. They were using Marlon Mack and Naheem Hines. Taylor would get on the field eventually, and then he made the most of his opportunity. But like you said, they weren't doing well, and he wasn't getting opportunities, and they worked through it, and he eventually got to where he is. But yeah, for me, the line is too good. He's too good. The schedule's going to get easier. I don't think you give up on him early.
And I think it's volume, right? So you're given, when you pick up Aaron Jones, you're getting similar volume, but he's splitting time. And John Taylor may be the only workhorse running back other than Dameon Pierce in the league. I think those are the only two that are getting more than 80% of their team snaps. So I think you've got a clear-cut one versus a question mark, and you're gonna hate it because you're gonna be like, damn, this could be the week that AJ Dillon goes off. This could be the week that Aaron Jones, and just save yourself from having to deal with that.
The Packers thing is weird with me. The way I see it is Jones is getting more touches, but he's not being as efficient with them as Dillon is.
Yeah.
And Dillon's not getting as many, but he's like 5 carries for 32 yards last week. So, he was averaging over 6 yards a carry, but he only got 5 carries.
And then they don't use them. So, it's hard. Now, if one of those guys goes down, the other one, I think, becomes a commodity of top-tier value. But, you never want to wish an injury. You never want to bank on an injury either.
So he posted his bench, but I don't see any bench RBs. I would be trying I would be trying to get another receiver because I think Godwin and Sutton are good, but I think between the injuries between those two, I would be trying to get someone that's a little more stable.
Zero bench RBs. Yeah, so I think that's going to be a tough one. So at that point, it does help getting to 2 bench RBs, or I guess you'll have one, and you'll run I'm assuming you're running a wide receiver in your flex at that point because you'd start Barkley, Hall, and Aaron Jones. So you could run 3. I think your move would be to try to wait on a McLaurin to kind of blow up again. So like if Scary Terry starts balling out, or even Thielen, and try to package those guys. No problem, brother. We'll see it. But yeah, if Scary Terry starts balling out,
try and sell high on one of those receivers.
Yeah, try to sell high, get you a
more proven
Travis Etienne or somebody like that who's a little bit low right now that we have a little bit more faith in. Build that running back bench up a little bit. Let's talk games, Deuce, because we have not talked games yet.
Let's go with me.
First game, Minnesota Dolphins. I'm looking at possibly going to this game. It's still up in the air. Maybe Teddy Bridgewater, maybe not. I still think you're going to start both Miami wide receivers. I don't think you're starting Gesicki unless you're super desperate. And running back, I was wrong. Looks like Mostert is the guy now. Out of nowhere. Thanks a lot. It doesn't make sense. And as soon as I say, okay, it's going to be Mostert this week, it's going to be fucking switched again, So I'm avoiding their running back game right now.
I think Cheetah is still startable. I don't know if Waddle is, if Thompson starts. And I hate it because I like Waddle a lot. I like Waddle more than Hill, but with the situation as it is right now, I think there are better options around him where he's being ranked. for this week.
No, I feel that. I don't mind. Don't mind that. Minnesota Jets for sure. Possible Irv Smith sighting. Dalvin Cook for sure. Kirk Cousins. It's a 1:00 game. He's probably a start. I think you're going to get your 18 from him because he plays pretty good on 1:00. Oh, I can show the message. That's so cool. Dude, yeah, I like this. So I'm going to probably use this, and I'm going to overlay it back into Streamlabs, and then I don't know. Maybe I just use this. I don't know.
You'll figure it out.
This is
not worried about it.
Yeah. So I think that's your starters. Thielen, flex play.
I can agree with
that. Patriots, Browns.
Oh, I'm going Vikings as the winner if we're doing winners and losers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Actually, we'll go San Fran versus Atlanta. Big thing here. We've seen Kyle Pitts and George Kittle kind of be no-shows. So I don't know. I don't know what we want to do with the two of them.
As a Pitts owner in one of my league, I'm not starting Pitts. Apparently he's expected to play.
Yeah.
However, Zach Ertz was on the waiver wire, and I will be using Zach Ertz in place of Kyle Pitts because they play Seattle, and Seattle's defense is basically a turnstile. And I feel like this is one of the last weeks that you could really capitalize on having Ertz in the lineup.
Yeah, I mean, I think Ertz may still have some value moving forward.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like, he'll have a role, but I mean, like, to the extent of which he's been, he's tight end 4 right now.
Yeah. I mean, I did the same thing. I had Pitts and I picked up Hayden Hurst, and I'm just as happy with Hayden Hurst as I think I would have been with Pitts because, fucker's gotten me 6 times in a row. Same thing with George Kittle, man. I'm a little worried. He has been used to block. Hey, it hurts. It hurts to see. It hurts to see that, but I think Kittle's probably still a start. What do you think?
I think I would feel better about starting him than Pitts. Easily.
I would too. Yeah.
However, I think you need to set expectations with Trent Williams out that he's going to be asked to help stay in and block often. Yeah. So
I think go ahead.
It honestly depends on what you're going against, because if you need upside, I may try and look elsewhere. If you're looking for
8 points,
you
can get it. If you're looking for 15, 20, probably not. San Fran also has Debo and Ayuk. I think those two are both startable. I think Debo more so than Ayuk, but I think Ayuk is. And then Jeff Wilson, plug him in and play him in, dude. He has been on fire.
For Ayuk, I would say that he in a 10-team league, he's no better than a flex play, and in 12 or deeper, you could justify wide receiver 2.
No, I think so. I think that's about accurate. That's where I kind of have him. What's the score? It's still 0-0?
Yeah, no, I'll keep you updated. Yeah, and another important thing to watch from this game too is, yes, Jeff Wilson Jr. is still the starting running back for now. Tyrion Davis-Price is expected to return.
Okay.
So just nothing major, just something to monitor, keep tabs on.
I think that is a good point. Watch that. We did see Tevin Coleman kind of come in and do pretty decent too. So,
just keep an eye out.
2 things to watch, but I don't think they're of worrisome yet.
No.
Patriots versus I'm going San Francisco.
I am as well. And do you have any confidence in starting any Atlanta pass catchers this game?
I think Drake London's proved himself. Last week's probably a fluke. if you have Drake London, you're probably starting him because he's just been that good over the last couple of weeks. I'm not worried about him. Now, if I see 2 weeks in a row where it's, pretty bad, then I start to worry a little bit, but I'm starting him. I think I'm very comfortable starting Drake London. Kyle Pitts if I have to. Nobody else really on that team speaks to me, though.
Got it. I am also going with the Niners.
And I don't think I would flex Mariota or, even if I'm in a deeper league.
No.
I don't think I'm playing Mariota this week. He is not a stream quarterback for me this week. So
Not against a top 3 defense.
yeah. And Garoppolo is also not a flex, or a stream quarterback for me. The Atlanta Falcons surprisingly have been pretty decent against quarterbacks. So I wouldn't play either. I just don't want this game.
They have Terrell and
Yeah.
Casey Hayward Jr. on the corner, so
Yeah.
they have good corners.
I not my cup of tea there. Next up, New England versus Cleveland. New England stuffed the run last week. They stuffed the pass. They stuffed everything last week. You mentioned not having too much faith in the defense, and then the defense showed out. This is a Cleveland team that's run the ball really, really well. Nick Chubb, I think, still must start. Kareem Hunt had his best game of the season fantasy-wise, with like 18 points or whatever.
Definitely since week 1. He had a good week 1.
He did have a good week 1. I think I'm still sitting him unless I have to play him. I think he's a low-end flex play, but I would rather play like an Ayuk or somebody over him. New England side, Ramondre's taken over the backfield. This Browns team's got a good run defense as well, though. I think you could probably RB2 Ramondre. Definitely not an RB1. Possible flex, maybe low-end RB2. If you went no RB strategy, I think that's where he's sitting.
Especially in a week with notable or whatever buys.
Yeah, there's a lot of buys. So you're probably going to play him as RB2 this week. Yeah, I'm comfortable with it. Damian Harris may be coming back. I don't think he's anything big to worry about right now. It looks like Ramondre owns the backfield, but this is Bill Belichick, and he's been known to fuck around with them. Also, it depends on if Zappy's still here. I think he's still going to be playing.
Yeah,
run guys. I think this is going to be a run game. This is going to be a brutal ground and pound game. Defenses, not a high scoring game. I'm not playing any receivers for either of these teams other than David Njoku.
That's fair.
I'm waiting out Amari Cooper. I don't think he's going to have a great game this week.
Not this week. I would agree.
Is it J.C. Jackson? No, J.C.'s gone. Who's their corner now?
It's his last name's Jack.
Yeah.
I don't know his first name. Where's 13?
So he'll be on Cooper. Cooper will get his, but I don't think I'm starting him.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's a flex. Cooper's definitely a flex. Would you rather Cooper or Ramondre?
Ramondre.
Cooper or Kareem Hunt?
Cooper.
Cooper or Ayuk?
Probably Ayuk.
Okay.
Just solely based on the matchup.
Yep. Jets, Green Bay Packers.
Oh, I'm actually going to go the Patriots. I'm going upset.
I went Cleveland Browns. I don't think it's too much of an upset. Both are 2-3. Both are pretty similar teams, if we're being honest.
I really like New England's ability to take away the run last week against Detroit. I think Bill Belichick is very good at taking away the other team's best weapon, or at least containing.
Green Bay Packers, fun thing, and we'll just cover it real quickly. Aaron Rodgers retiring at the end of the year.
I don't know. I'm done talking about Aaron Rodgers and retiring.
Guys, I'm playing. If you got the running backs for Green Bay, you're probably starting them. If you've got the running backs for the Jets, you're probably starting them both.
I'm definitely starting Brees Hall.
Yeah, I love Brees Hall. Honestly, looking back at Jeb's trade, Brees Hall's as good as either one of the Green Bay running backs right now.
I think you could get away with flexing Carter because teams are throwing against the pack. The Packers have the least amount of passes attempted against them.
Yeah.
So in the spirit of that statistic, I think I'm going to ride with you. You can start both. I would only feel comfortable starting Hall though.
Wide receiver and or Tyler Conklin. Are you playing any of them for the Jets?
No, because Zach Wilson basically diminished Conklin and Garrett Wilson.
Yeah,
Joe Flacco was feeding Wilson and Conklin, and then
Yep.
Zach Wilson came in and that didn't end favorably.
Any love for Elijah Moore? Which has been theoretically Garrett Wilson's favorite, or Zach Wilson's favorite target.
Yeah, I think he's shown some love to Corey Davis too. I think I would be more apt to go with Corey Davis. That might be a cold take, but I think Jair.
Go ahead.
I think Jair will line up against Elijah Moore, and I think that the individual matchup for Corey Davis will be better.
Okay. Allen Lazard, Romeo Doubs have both looked pretty good, and I think they're filling that Devontae role. One of them will do good each week. I love Romeo Doubs, but I think this is an Allen Lazard week.
I agree with you completely.
But I do think Green Bay takes this one.
So I've had the Jets in my ATS picks the last 2 weeks, and they've won the ATS picks. And I think I'm going to ride with the Jets to pull off the upset.
Dang. Carson Wentz just about passed it to Curtis Samuel for a tutty?
Yep, he did.
And he missed it?
Yep, it was actually a pretty good throw.
How about Monty having 8 carries, but Khalil Herbert having a 64-yarder? Hey, is Mooney back? 4 for 40.
Yeah.
Commits got 15.
The thing I've noticed in this game is that they're getting the ball to him quick and letting him make plays after the catch, which is what they should have caught on to that a long time ago.
Colts got embarrassed week 1 against Jacksonville. Do the Colts get, obviously, possibly John Taylor back, but they're now going to be playing Jacksonville. I'm going to go Jacksonville. No. I'm going Colts. Colts are going to come back and ram on them. Guys, told you early. Alec Pierce. I like Alec Pierce. I drafted him in my dynasty. He's starting to show up. He's probably on waivers. Look for Alec Pierce. Grab and stash. If you have a nobody, I'm looking at Jeb's team again. I might drop Isaiah McKenzie for an Alec Pierce right now, just for the potential upside. He might overtake Paris Campbell, and then he could be valuable.
I think he's overtaken Paris Campbell already.
So not technically, because I think Campbell had more snaps, but I think it's very close now. Now, fantasy wise, I think he probably has, but per the real team, not quite.
I would feel more comfortable doing that because Isaiah McKenzie's the third receiver on the Bills. Yeah. And, Shakir looked pretty good in the slot. So, he may have a little bit to worry about.
Shakir looked good, baby. I also have Shakir. Pretty happy.
I said the Bills should have started Shakir at the beginning of the season. In that slot role.
ETN actually showed up for the first time. I think this may be the last week to get him cheap. Because I think he might start showing up a little bit. And I don't think he's going to be this world breaker like we thought he was going to be, but I think he will have some value moving forward.
He's the wrinkle from the first matchup, because in the first matchup, they went with Robinson and they didn't see ETN a lot. So this might be, when it's hard to game plan for the unknown. So you didn't see ETN the first time. You're getting him the second time. So
I think I'm gonna go Colts. So I think they seal this one. Christian Kirk still scares me. 1 week is okay. He had a bad week. 2 weeks, starting to get worried. Marvin Jones was the leader this week. Last week it was Zay Jones. I'm kind of keeping a cautious eye out. If I'm Christian Kirk owners, I think you can start him as an wide receiver too. But if he fails this week, then I'm benching him and I'm not starting him until I see production for 2 weeks straight.
The concerning thing, the difference between week 4 and week 5 for me was the amount of targets.
Right.
So he had 8.3 in week 4, but at least he had 9 targets. Yeah. Last week he had 2.1 and he only had 3.
Yeah. And it may have just been, a shitty matchup, right? Because we've seen it before where guys get locked down. I mean, Houston was an interesting game. They were running the ball, and Houston's a weird team to play against, and it just wasn't like the greatest, thing. He was out there for 96% of the team's snaps, so I'm not worried in that regards. I just think it was, kind of a shitty matchup. You look at the game against Philly, he even got a rushing attempt. So I don't think they're done with Christian Kirk, and I think he's fine to start. I'm just being a little reserved with him, right?
Mm-hmm. So. Plus, I think we need to take caution too because of how well he did against the Colts the first time. I know that's weird to hear, but
yeah, they're going to be like, shit, he burnt me. Let me not let him burn me again.
Right, he's a focal point of the game plan now. So the Colts defense is a good defense. I don't think they'll let him blow up twice.
Right.
He could still have a good day. He could still get you 10 or 12 fantasy points, but I mean, I wouldn't expect 25 again.
You going Colts or Jags?
I'm going to go Colts with you, buddy.
Let's go. Your team, Vikings, Dolphins.
We already did Vikings, Dolphins.
Did we already do Vikings? Yeah, we did. Shit. Sorry, I'm on the actual picks now versus being on the other one. Cincinnati, New Orleans. I guess
this was hard.
Let's talk. Yeah, very tough matchup. Let's talk Cincy. Higgins was a bust, no show. Can't really do much about that. We feel bad about that. It's what it is. Jamar Chase, I talked about this. I mean, 12 points, 3 straight weeks has just been. It's not what you spend a first round pick on. I'm frustrated as a Chase owner, but you got to stick with him. Too much talent. The talent's there. Just wait for it. Joe Mixon guaranteed must start. I mean, shit, he's been the king of consistency. And I heard it the other day. It's like he's not going to get you 40, but he's not going to get you 8. The man's going to get you 10, 15 based on volume alone.
Oh, yeah, he's a volume monster.
Yeah, and he's another one. Sorry, of that John Taylor group. I think Joe Mixon's in that group. John Taylor, him, and Damian Pierce. Only guys with all of their team's carries.
So New Orleans would typically be a defense you would be hesitant to start a running back against. However, with the volume part of the argument you said, and then giving up 6.8 yards per carry to Rashad Penny last week and 11 yards per carry to Kenneth Walker last week, I think you could start mixing with confidence.
Yeah, I think I don't think you have anywhere where you could bench Mixon. I just think he's just too good at this point.
You start him no matter what, but you feel better about it than what you would in years past going against
the flip side. And I think you can also start Joe Burrow. Just because I think it's going to be a little bit of an up-scoring game. There's potential.
Washington has 3 now.
Cool. Also think you can play Hurst, right?
If Higgins is out, yeah. I think Higgins is trending towards not playing.
Oh, I can scroll this shit across the bottom?
Like a ticker?
Oh my god.
That's sick. I get it. Yeah, based on what I've seen, I don't think I don't know yet because they haven't announced it, but I would guess that Higgins isn't going to play.
Yeah, which kind of sucks.
At least we'll know this time because he definitely didn't play last week.
Yeah. On the other side, I think Kamara and Olave are still startable. I think Mike Thomas,
Has Olave been cleared?
No, but he was at practice today. It's just a concussion, so I think he's going to be fine. I don't know. It depends on if they crack down on this concussion or not. But I think Olave is a play, and Mike Thomas is hurt. Possibly give him a week. If he plays, give him one more week. If he doesn't play, we'll have to wait on that and we'll reevaluate. Kamara, you're still playing. Taysom Hill, we talked about it last week. The Swiss Army knife dropped 3 touchdowns, right? So you know what he's going to do this week? 2 points. So do not start him this week. I'm telling you. I'm warning you now. It's going to be 2. People are going to run out and get him and be like, oh, I got a quarterback in the tight end spot. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. 2 points this week. So just hamper your expectations. He's not going to have 3 carries for 50 yards and 3 touchdowns again. Like, it's not going to happen every single week. So hamper your expectations. If you're in a deep ass league and you're like, fuck, I need a tight end, sure, go for it.
I disagree with you if Winston's out because
is Winston out though?
It hasn't been official, but he's questionable. That's why
if Winston's out, he's Andy Dalton's still there.
Yeah, but Andy Dalton was there last week. I'm not saying he'll do what he did last week, but I think he'll have enough points to warrant him putting him in the tight end spot just because how bad tight end is. That's
true. He only needs 5 to be relevant as a tight end?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, he's going to be a bust this week. I've seen it happen.
I don't know who to pick for this game. This was probably the hardest game for me to pick.
Yeah, I went overall talent, and I think the overall talent leans towards the Bengals. Other than the fact that their O-line is trash, I think they win every other location. Maybe slight edge to New Orleans in a couple of the defensive positions. But I think Jesse Bates is just really good.
Von Bell's having a good year.
Von Bell, I think their D-line is looking good with Reeder and the rest of those boys.
And Joe and Jamar want to show out with the Louisiana homecoming.
Yeah, and I think that's the other thing, right? So you got some LSU boys getting back to LSU. I think the Bengals will cover this game.
You convinced me. I'll ride Bengals with you.
Let's go. We're riding together. Ravens, I think the only player I'm comfortable starting is Lamar and Mark Andrews. Bateman's kind of a toss-up for me.
Bateman still has his injury designation too.
Yeah. Other side, it's New York. I mean, Barkley's been a hell of an animal. This will be a high-scoring game. The Ravens' defense isn't what it used to be, so they give up a decent amount of stuff. So let's go Daniel Jones stream option.
I'm streaming him.
Davis Sills was the damn leading receiver for New York, so I don't want any part of that passing offense. But I'm okay with Daniel Jones potentially for his rushing ability and shit like that. And Barkley for sure. I think he's RB1 or RB2. And then Lamar for sure and Mark Andrews. The problem I see is that the Giants haven't really played anybody except for Dallas, and they lost to Dallas. So I'm going Baltimore Ravens. And I don't think the Packers are, people be like, they played the Packers. I don't think the Packers are the Packers. I don't think they're a top-tier team.
No, I agree with that.
I think it was a hell of a game by New York, and they won that shit. They were also in 4 and 5 countries, so I don't think that plays a role either.
If Bateman plays, you do start him, though, right? I think the Giants' defense is pretty average. I think in rushing, they're in like the middle.
Speed. We saw what CD did to him when he was torturing him speed-wise. Lazard had some good shit. I think you could play Bateman. I think you'd be fine with Bateman.
And then obviously, if Bateman's out, I would feel fine with Duvernay.
Yeah, I think he's got that speed that he brings as well. So Duvernay, yeah, whichever wide receiver starting for them, I think you could play. Tampa Bay versus the Steelers. So the Kenny Pickett experiment did not really work. He did not look incredible. Fun fact, Claypool apparently led the team in targets with 9. This is a team that's hard to judge. I don't want Pickett. I'm still okay with Pat Freiermuth. Fucking love Freiermuth. I'm okay with Freiermuth based purely on tight ends suck, and he's a decent tight end. He's tight end 10 right now. I'm okay with Deontay Johnson.
He had 13 targets last week.
Deontay did? Oh, shit.
But he only had 5 receptions, so not a very efficient week.
Yeah, I'm okay with Deontay Johnson, and I'm okay with Najee Harris in the flex. I don't think he's an RB2.
It sucks because of where you drafted him, obviously.
It does, and I think it could change, right? So this isn't an end-all, be-all, but I think this week, especially against Tampa Bay, and it's the best run defense in the league still, in my opinion, you've got to hamper expectations, and you're only playing Najee if it's like, I'm dying and need somebody to play. Let me hit you with a question, because I've got Najee in my flex, and I have Christian Kirk waiting to play, and Kyle Pitts.
Are you asking me which of those 3?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I mean Najee between those 3.
You don't like Christian Kirk?
No.
Okay.
I would rather take my chances with Najee.
What if I told you I'm starting Alec Pierce over Christian Kirk?
That's fine.
I like Alec Pierce this week. On the other side, Playoff Lenny has been fucking amazing. He's RB3. Even we talked a little bit about Rashad White taking a little bit of snap share from him. Didn't matter. I mean, Fournette is that guy still. It's been great. So I think we're going to continue to see him be fine. Tom Brady looked pretty decent. I think he had 18 or 20 fantasy points. Mike Evans, Godwin, they're still your guys, and that's about it really there.
I love Fournette. He's getting rushing volume, but what's separating him is the receiving volume.
Yeah, which is interesting for him. I'm gonna go Tampa Bay.
Like the fact that he's had 6 targets, 7 targets, and 11 in the past 3 games is crazy to me.
I'm all about it, baby. Playoff.
I'm going Tampa Bay too. I would be fine with Deontay and George Pickens. I don't like Claypool as like a person, so I don't have him on anything, and I'm not starting him because I don't like him. So he's like probably the one person that I don't like. So like I'll never say that I'm going to start Claypool.
But I feel
Pickens is coming on. Deontay had 13, and I think they're going to be down again, so they're going to be throwing the ball a lot.
Yeah. Next up, we have the Panthers and the Rams. The Rams are god-awful, but the Panthers look like they're in full rebuild, seeing as how they are firing their coaches. They're firing anyone associated with that rule. They're looking to send Christian McCaffrey to the Bills.
Free DJ Moore.
Yeah, man. I heard DJ Moore's been asked about. Now, I think DJ's pretty good. He just signed a massive deal. I still think he's a decent receiver. Low-end flex, kind of range until we see the volume go up. CMC, you still play. I mean, you have to still play him.
Mm-hmm.
On the Rams side, Cooper Kupp.
Higbee.
Maybe Higbee. And I would argue Darrell has more value than Cam.
Yeah.
Because Darrell's been getting the receiving work. So I'm going Darrell over Cam. And again, flex position only.
Cam's efficiency has dated back to last year too.
Yeah.
Like I didn't want to put too much weight into it because he was coming off an injury.
We saw it, and we talked about it.
Yeah, but now we've seen it for an extended period of
I
time.
want to say Cam Akers was on yours and my do not draft list.
Yeah, no,
Where
I
we
wasn't
were
taking Cam.
both, and I think we preached it pretty hard as well. And obviously, I wish more people would see because we'd be able to get you. But yeah, we preached Cam Akers is not the guy. Darrell Henderson didn't disappear. The question is, which team are you going?
Am I picking to win?
Yeah.
The Rams, because I'm not picking the Panthers until something happens. Like
Dude, this Rams team is trash, though. I mean, take away Cooper Kupp, right? And take away the long pass to Tutu Atwell. Couldn't do anything. And Dallas got a good defense, but the Panthers have a strong front line, right? So, I mean, they've got Brian Burns. They've got a couple other guys on that line. I think that they bring that same pressure against the Rams, and I'm going upset. And I don't want to do it, but Stafford's look.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like what I've seen from the Rams, but I think they're talented.
I think they're the better
It's
team.
much.
I just think they're reeling right now. Do you think they sign OBJ?
The thing that I saw about Odell was that Odell wanted Gallup money and the Rams didn't want to give him Gallup money.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking it's going to be, if I had to guess, I think it's going to be the Bills or the Ravens.
I think the Bills are fine. I think they like where they got. I could see the Ravens for sure. I could also see Oakland.
Yeah, Devontae really likes him.
Yep. And then I had heard a few rumors about Green Bay, but we'll see. Yeah.
I could see DJ Moore go into Green Bay. But if you're the Panthers, after signing him to such a deal,
I'm not selling DJ Moore. I'm fine selling CMC because he's injury prone, but I'm not selling DJ Moore.
right, and you want him there for whoever, whether it's CJ Stroud or Bryce Young coming in.
Somebody needs a reliable, because I mean you're resetting at that point. You have nobody, and you're taking a gamble, and I don't like that. Cardinals versus Seattle. Geno has been cooking. I think Geno must be rostered, and I think you could start him pretty much any week now. He's proven himself over enough time that Geno could be played and started. Kyler as well, I think, is going to have a great game. This is your Kenneth Walker game. He's going to show up, show out.
This is going to be a high-scoring one.
Yeah, James Conner, I saw today, is supposedly not expected to play. So you're actually going to see two rookies kind of going up against each other. Eno Benjamin, who should be rostered, at least for this week, and Ken Walker, who is a guaranteed roster. I mean, I don't think you're going to be able to
moving forward. Oh, Kenneth Walker, if he was on your waivers, you should have spent 70% of whatever your budget is to get him.
You get Ken Walker if he was available.
He's I think he's got to be projected top 15, maybe top 10 RB for the rest of the year.
I would agree. Definitely. Let's see. I'll tell you what his weekly ranking is. I mean, he's got to be in the top 15 there. Just based on, I mean, he's the only guy there, you know?
Right, because their pass catching back, Travis Homer's hurt too.
Mm-hmm. They've got him at 17, which is okay. I'm okay with him at 17. He's ahead of CEH, he's ahead of Hunt, he's ahead of Dobbs, ahead of ETN, ahead of Dillon, ahead of Robinson. So I'm okay where he is.
Who's he behind? Who are the two in front of him?
Raheem Mostert and Melvin Gordon, which I think he could probably be pushed above those two.
Oh, this. Oh, okay. I thought this was a rest of season.
No. This is this week. And, you know, he's behind guys like Jeff Wilson, Miles Sanders, Aaron Jones, Ramondre.
I'd rather start him than Miles Sanders, but, I mean, I understand the placement.
Yeah, I think Miles Sanders has that touchdown upside, but I think the receiving upside for Ken Walker's there. I'm going Cardinals. I think they've got this one. And then total D-Hop, baby.
The Yeah, the total for the Cardinals Seahawks is 50.5. So like I think obviously you start DK,
Lockett.
I think you could start Lockett now.
Yep.
Um I think that you could start Noah Fant if you had
I was
to.
gonna say deep leagues, no offense, not, and even Will Disley, deep leagues is not bad.
Yeah. Ken Walker obviously, and then on the Zona side, Benjamin, like you said, Hollywood Brown, Zach
Mm-hmm.
Ertz, maybe
Mm-hmm.
Rondell Moore and deeper stuff, but
Yeah.
because Rondell basically came in and took the Dortch role.
Yeah.
So he's
Dortch.
got a significant role.
Yeah. Sucks because I was enjoying Dortch for a while. Um,
I would try and sell Marquise though.
yeah.
After I know you
And
think he's still gonna have a role after
I think
this
he
week,
still has a role.
but like
Which
coming off of this game, he should have a really good game, and I think you could get away with trading him and getting it.
upselling him. Yeah.
Yep.
I think this will be your best week to sell. However, don't sell for scraps, right? So that's what we always kind of preach is, I don't want 6 scrap trash players for my one good decent player. I think he still carries wide receiver 2 value going out through the rest of the season. Yeah. Best matchup of the entire week.
Oh, I'm going Seahawks. Sorry, Seahawks.
Let's go. I think I'm going to fade with you. I'll go Seahawks with you.
Oh, you switched up.
Yeah, I believe in my boy Ken Walker. Gina's been playing well.
I just like this team right now, to be honest with you.
It's a fun team. It's a team it's that underdog team that you get to kind of root for. That they were kind of trash.
Absolutely zero defense, though. Zero.
Yeah, shit about defense. But speaking of defense, Buffalo Bills, phenomenal defense. Kansas City still has Patrick Mahomes. We saw MVS be the guy last week. Juju's still there. We talked about CH a little bit earlier on. I think CH, you sell him immediately. I've been saying it. Sell him every single week. Nobody's listening. I think you pick up Pacheco. Like if you're one of those ones that's trying to gamble on like who's going to be the next best player, like if you'd picked up Ken Walker last week prior to the injury, you're looking great. I think Pacheco is one of those guys. Just hold him. Like if you have a bench spot, hold him at the end of the week. Pick him up right before the game. If CH goes down, Pacheco will be a top 5, top 10 running back. I mean,
especially if you have an RB that's in an IR spot. Like if
right.
you have like DeAndre Swift who might be out, they have a bye this week. Who knows if he's going to be back next week or not?
Mm-hmm.
But if you maybe Swift was a bad example, but if you have like an RB that's on IR for like that's actually on IR, so it's like 4 weeks. That's like the perfect time frame to see what Pacheco is going to do.
Yeah, see, I mean, again, it's that high risk, high reward, right? So you drop somebody that's not really worth anything, like a Tyler Boyd, and you pick up Pacheco right before the waivers close, right before the game. If CH goes down, you're good. If he doesn't, drop Pacheco for whoever you're picking up off the waiver. Hard for me, but I think the Bills get the rematch and they get the win here. The firepower is just too strong. Look for Gabe Davis and Diggs to have another 1-2 punch week. Josh Allen's going to run a lot this week. I think he'll probably finish as quarterback 2 this week behind Lamar. But I don't think the Chiefs will be too far behind. So keep an eye on the Chiefs. I think McKinnon outscores CH this week, and I think Juju's the receiver this week.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Not from anybody, just from me. You're starting Singletary, right?
It's hard, right? Because he had 4 points last week and the team scored 38.
I read somewhere from a verified user on Twitter, so it's not just crap.
Yeah, I mean,
that in games where the Bills are favored by 3 or less, that Singletary averages about 14.4 fantasy points per game.
Yeah.
Make of that what you will.
I mean, yeah, I think Singletary is one of those guys where it's a short week where, you're short 4, 5, 6 teams that are on bye, most of those teams have decent running backs. So, if you're a guy who has Singletary, I don't think you're mad about it, right? So if you had Dameon Pierce, you had Josh Jacobs, you had Derrick Henry, you had Jamal/Swift. Yeah, I think Singletary is going to be the guy that replaces those guys, right? So I'm not starting him. If I have, two of my top tier guys, like if I have a Chubb and an Aaron Jones, I'm not playing him. But if I've got a bye, for sure, I think he's a great fill-in for your bye guys.
I am reluctant to ever go into the Bills' backfield, but I would start him here.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I hate the Bills' backfield because you've got Josh Allen who runs, and that's such a pass-happy team, right? They get to the red zone and they want to pass it to Diggs. They want to drop it in there to Dawson Knox. I think there's a chance, though. Another guy to keep an eye on, since we're talking Bills, keep an eye on Khalil Shakir. I don't think he's a must roster. I don't think he's a grab and stash. He's just an interesting guy to keep an eye on. He's got a long way before he's fantasy relevant, but I think he'll be one of those guys that's like, oh shit, that guy had 2 touchdowns, and
put him on your watch list, whatever app you're using.
Yeah,
you could watch players without picking them up.
Yeah, keep an eye on him. He's not gonna do anything, but he's just one to kind of keep an eye on.
And for me, I would also feel comfortable starting Singletary, making the last point on that. Jacobs went 21 for 154 rushing last week.
That's true.
So I would feel comfortable doing that. Going back quickly to the Seahawks game, if I asked you what percentage of leagues is Geno rostered in, what would you guess?
It's got to be 60% now, right? Or is it still sub 60? No way.
No, it's 70.
Is it 70? Okay.
I still think that's too low.
I still think it's too low. I think you should be in 85, 90% of leagues. I mean, unless you're in like a 10-teamer, I don't know, even 10-teamer, I'd probably still have him rostered. Even if he's your bench, right? Just have a bench guy, because it's going to come up in these next 2 weeks where your guy is gone and Geno's there. You want him. You don't want to be facing Geno and you have to pluck out Zach Wilson and play Zach Wilson.
Right.
Imagine having to run Kenny Pickett and your opponent picks up Geno and runs him and gets 30.
Going back to the current game, I will be picking the Chiefs because the Bills have not beat the Chiefs yet. How about that?
Big game, you're going to it. Dallas Eagles.
I am.
Where are you leaning?
The game or fantasy players?
The game.
Oh, I'm going with the Eagles.
Okay.
Because Cooper Rush has done an amazing job, but Cooper Rush is expected to get another spot start with Dak getting the Week 7 start.
Mm-hmm.
So for that reason, I am going the Eagles. It's at home. They're 5-0. And, that home field advantage is pretty good. So nothing against the Cowboys. I just think this is –
I agree. I want to go Dallas, and I'm gonna go Dallas just so I can root for them and be happy. I do think the Eagles have the better opportunity here to win the game. The one thing I've noticed Dallas has not been the best against is the rush, right? And what team is good against good rushing the ball? Philadelphia. They got Gainwell who comes in pretty often and does well. Miles Sanders looked really good lately. And then obviously you have Jalen Hurts. Looks great, rush the ball. And you also look at what Dallas has had, right? So what have they gone up against? Burrow, pocket passer. Wentz, pocket passer. Stafford, pocket passer. Even, Brady, pocket passer.
Daniel Jones.
Daniel Jones started to scramble, and what happened? They struggled with the scramble, right? So actually in the app, I'm going to go ahead and go Eagles. I'm going to obviously cheer for the Cowboys, but I think it's Eagles. I think they're going to have a struggle with that, and I think the only way to counter it is going to be to literally put Micah Parsons as a QB spy. But what that does is it changes the offense, right, or the defense. I think they can do it, and even if they move, Donovan Wilson's played really well, so maybe he QB spy. Somebody's QB spying, but when that happens, you shift what you want to do, right? Because they like a lot more of a zone. But when you QB spy, you have to run like more of a man with a little bit of zone in there. It just takes away a little bit. And I think that's what's going to be a little bit of a difference maker. I do think it's going to be a low-scoring, close game because both these teams have good defenses. But I think Philly has like a drive kind of at the beginning of the fourth quarter where they get down there, they score 7, it puts them up 4, we'll say, and then Dallas just cannot quite get that last drive to get going.
Yeah, I think that they could spy Parsons and still get good pressure though, because they have D-Law, they have Doris Armstrong, who's been playing well.
Yeah.
Also,
Uzui Agazua, he's been playing pretty decent as well when he comes in for Dorrance or for T-Law.
It'll just come down to their ability to contain Hurts, because if they if they could limit him to passing, they have a shot. If he's able to break that contain, all hell breaks loose.
And that's also the other part of it, right? So, one, Hurts hasn't seen a defense like this. But the other thing is this defense is very zone heavy. We've seen it. Diggs will play man, but he likes zone. Same thing with the rest of them. And the zone hides your mistakes a lot better than anything else. But the problem with the zone is after – they say a zone's the best defense for the first 15 seconds, and then after that, it is shit. And what does a mobile quarterback do? He improvs, he makes it last longer than 15 seconds, and he can get it done. And I think that's the one issue with this team. And that's why they've been so good, right? Because they've been rushing the quarterback, limiting the quarterback. The average quarterback time for Dallas or against Dallas has been 5.8 seconds to throw the ball. Phenomenal. A zone works when you have 5 seconds. But once you get into the 10, 15-second range and you're making moves with your feet, that zone falls apart.
So you get less pressure using zone. You could still blitz in zone.
Right.
However, when you play zone, your eyes are still on the quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if you play man, your back's to the quarterback and you're more susceptible to the run.
Yeah.
So I think if they can mix the looks between blitzing and containing or spying, I think that they can have some level of success. I think both defenses are good, though, like you said.
It's going to be a great defensive game. If you like defense, this is the game to watch. It's boring, but it's good. But yeah, I think I'm going to go Dallas just because I want to have them in my app as Dallas. Fuck it. But I do think I think the Eagles have the edge. If Dallas wins it, it's a miracle. Last one, Denver versus Chargers. Chargers, I'm all in on. If Mike plays, play him. If Keenan plays, play him. If
Keenan's out.
Keenan's officially out, so definitely play Mike.
I'll double check, but I'm pretty sure I saw he was out.
That means Everett is 100% a go. Eckler's a go. Herbert's a go. On the other side, Sutton, Judy, Melvin. Because Chargers haven't looked that great, but I'm not playing Russ. So I'm going Sutton, Judy, Melvin, and that's it.
I don't know if I would feel good enough to start Jerry Jeudy, to be honest with you.
You got to think, though, this is going to be a game where all they do is throw the ball, right? Because that's what the Chargers do. They score a shit ton, but they have shitty defense. So I think this is going to be – I think it's going to be a little bit higher scoring game, and I think Jeudy has the opportunity at that point.
Okay, so never mind. Let me backtrack. Keenan Allen's still questionable. He logged a limited participant in Thursday's practice.
Okay, so there's a slight chance of Keenan.
I feel like it's trending more towards out than playing, though.
Probably.
I'm going to pick the Chargers because it's the offense that's not struggling mightily.
Yep, I agree. Yeah, you want to cover your bets?
I do, but I want to run one more. I want to run one thing through you real quick.
I'll take it.
So we covered. Well, actually, it's two things. So we covered A.J. Dillon. What's your, I guess, like outlook rest of the season? What do you think of A.J. Dillon?
told you, unfortunately, I dropped him.
Yeah, so I mean, not good.
I don't mind, right? So I don't mind him. And I think there's value to be had. And I will be picking him up after this week. I had fucking two wide receivers. No, I had a wide receiver, running back, tight end, and quarterback that I had to replace.
Right.
You know, and I'm not dropping guys like Swift. I'm not dropping T Hawk. I'm not dropping Amon. I'm not dropping, you know, guys like that. You know, I had some of those players on those bigger teams, and I'm like, not dropping guys like that because I think they're more valuable. So, like a Damian Pierce, I'm not dropping. I think he's more valuable than AJ Dillon, Josh Jacobs, any of your Detroit guys right now. Tennessee guys. I'm not dropping Derrick Henry. So I'm okay dropping AJ Dillon to replace guys for now.
Touchdown, Dante Pettis. Sorry to interrupt.
Dante Pettis.
Bears.
Jesus. Yeah. So I'm okay with AJ. I think he's a guy you sit on your bench. I don't think he's a must start like was declared early on. I'm cautious of him.
I think Dillon gets more usage. I think last week was a weird week.
Yeah, and I think he does, but that offense hasn't looked good either, right? So it's not an offense that I'm like, I want that usage.
Right.
I mean, what are they doing? What are they scoring? Nothing. I don't want that. Like it's like he's offering me the damn Bears players. I don't want Bears players.
I think they're going to come to the realization at some point or another that they're going to have to run the ball to succeed, and I think that's when it's going to.
Yeah, eventually they should.
Yeah.
But it's like if you ask me, do you want Gibson and Robinson? I'm like, no, I really don't want either of those. There are better options out there. Do you want Zeke or Pollard? Sure, they're great players. Fantasy-wise, they're not worth it anymore.
So basically, to sum up, you wouldn't take Dillon over another team's number one, even
no shot. I don't think there's a single. If it's a clear-cut number one, right? So
yeah,
obviously these muddied fields, but like I think AJ Dillon's value is in that J.K. Dobbins range, where I'd prefer to have J.K. just purely because he's the one.
AJ Dillon or Melvin Gordon?
Melvin.
Volume. That pretty much sums up everything.
And I think that's the range he's in. Same thing with like the Ken Walker range, right? I would rather have Ken Walker purely because he's not fighting for somebody else. That's the one thing I cannot stand is when your guy gets vultured and he's the better back, right? So you're sitting there watching AJ Dillon, you're like, damn, he's so much better, and then he gets fucked over every time. No, don't want that. I would probably prefer AJ Dillon over. I think he's in that James Robinson range where you don't know what you're going to get from him because ETN, because Aaron Jones. So it's tough. I'm trying to sell him if I have him.
Right. Okay. Second question. If DJ Moore is traded, is he a wide receiver one again?
Guaranteed. For sure. I still think he's a wide receiver one. I just think the play calling shit. I want to see this week, right? So I want to see what the new coach does because Matt Rule's a fucking idiot. No, I mean you have a RB1 and a wide receiver one because DJ Moore is a wide receiver one. He's proven it multiple years. We've seen him be a top 5 guy. I mean, hell, last year he was top 3 for the first 6 weeks. Now, granted, the team was 5-0 and doing great, whatever. I think DJ Moore could still be a top 12 wide receiver. Now, he's not flashy. He's not pretty. What he is he's a fucking Brandon Cooks, right? He's a target guy that gets a shitload of shares. He's an Amari Cooper that's getting a lot of targets. He gets open. The touchdowns are there. The touchdowns aren't there. It doesn't matter. He's getting 10 catches. 80 yards every single week when used correctly, which I'm okay with. I like that, and that's what I drafted DJ Moore for. I want to see it, and I think this new coach is, I hope this new coach does something.
So I agree with you on the Moore take 100%.
Hell yeah.
I would explore trades for AJ Dillon. However, I don't know how much you're going to get back because of the recent performances. So I think
I think again for AJ Dillon, it's that you're not trading them for scraps deal, right? So I'm not taking useless players for them. I'm not taking 2-for-1s of mid-tier guys.
Keep them on your bench.
Keep him on my bench. Yeah, I'd rather keep him and wait than sell him for crackers.
Right. Okay. And one other thing I did was I did I wanted to run this by you. One buy low and one sell high from each position. Okay. Like not like RB and wide receiver.
Yeah. Hit me.
So I am buying low. I did 2 for running back. Okay. I did Brian Robinson because of the volume that he's going to get. Mm-hmm. Travis Etienne with the script flipping. I think you could get those 2 for low right now as opposed to what their value is going to be here either next week or the week after. And then the wide receiver buy low I have is Amon-Ra coming off of the ankle injury. I think maybe if you can, I think people are hesitant because of his ankle injury.
Yeah.
Normally I wouldn't want to trade for an injured player, but I don't think this is serious. I think.
Yeah, and I don't mind him because I think he has the track record of.
Yeah. And he comes back and he's still obviously the number one, and he's very talented, and we all know what he can do. So
Gibby got a carry.
Huh?
Gibby got a carry.
Yeah, I just saw that. So I'll toss it over to you. Who are your buy lows for RB and wideout?
Well, I'm selling the shit out of CEH.
We didn't get to sell yet.
And I'm buying Travis Etienne.
Fair enough. I think
wide receiver-wise, I would have probably said like a Darnell Mooney or a Deontay Johnson for my buy low. I'm selling the shit out of, and I think Christian Kirk could be a buy low as well. I don't know. Let me think about myself.
You want me to go while you're thinking?
Yep.
All right. So for the sells, I'm selling Najee Harris high while there's still a chance. I'm selling Aaron Jones. And then I'm selling Brandon Cooks because Nico Collins is getting similar targets and he's getting more air yards.
Yeah.
So sell Cooks while he still has that wide receiver one in his offense standing.
He's going to shock people, but I am going to sell Gabe Davis.
It's not a surprise.
I don't like the fact that all of his shit comes from long ass bombs. I would rather the guy get 10. I would rather a player getting 10 catches than a guy getting 3 for touchdowns and 60-yard catches. It's beautiful. It's amazing. Doesn't happen all. He's Van Jefferson, right? Van Jefferson did that shit last year where he would get, these long ass, beautiful, long touchdowns, and then you're like, oh, I love Van Jefferson, but then when he doesn't, he gets 2 points. It's like,
yeah, and that's another reason why I didn't like Jeb's trade, because I would need to see that volume for Davis before I felt comfortable acquiring him.
Yeah. All right, big dog. Well, I appreciate you, and we'll sign this one off.
You want me to run through the bets real quick?
Oh yeah, do your bets.
All right. We are 13 and 9 on the year, so doing okay.
Like 13 and 9, that's not bad.
Let me go with what did I send? All right, I'm going Vikings -3 at Dolphins, 49ers -5.5 at Falcons, Commanders -1 at Bears, Jets +7.5 at Packers, Bills at Chiefs, and the 3 points.
I like it.
I'm getting in this habit. Oh no, we're back to 5. I did 6 games last week.
Okay. 5's good. 5 would. We'll catch
All right,
you
man.
catch you later.